Hey everyone, how are you guys doing out there? I hope everyone's well. I'm on this side of the camera today, as you can see. I apologize, the sound quality is not the greatest when I do it with this setup, so I'll just do the best I can to speak up. And I also run the risk of having my cat plow through this reading, so she might do that at some point. So hopefully we can get through before that happens. And I just want to welcome everyone back who is been subscribed to the channel for some time, and welcome those who are new. And this is going to be a reading for the Divine Masculine and Feminine Twin Flame Collective. It is a post-eclipse reading, and I wanted to really just look into the energies that came out of the eclipse that happened most recently. It is still, the energies are still finishing up because the eclipse did finish out early this morning in certain parts of the world. But I really just wanted to take the time yesterday as much as possible to kind of sit with the energies and meditate with them and see what downloads were there in order to incorporate them into this reading. And I wanted to see directly how throughout the day what was coming through, because it seemed like at different points of the day different messages were kind of coming through. I wanted to see how by the end of the day, you know, where the Divine Feminine is currently at, and sort of like what he or she learned from that tremendous eclipse, because it was really so powerful. I mean, as you guys are probably aware, it was the longest total lunar eclipse of the 21st century, and I was told a while back from my guides just how powerful it would be. But at the time, I didn't realize that it was the longest eclipse of the century. So it just definitely packed a punch. And, you know, the energies are definitely still working through us. And like I said, I mean, it finished out early this morning in certain parts of the world. And we still have another eclipse coming in the Lion's Gate on August 8th. So it just feels like we are sort of setting the groundwork for that, you can say. And speaking of which, I want to talk about some messages that came through in early June. In one of the last videos that I uploaded, I talked about a window of time that I was shown in the first week in June, that was also serving as sort of like an activation period. And I got some pretty interesting messages at that time that I have yet to share, and I can definitely see how those direct messages and upgrades that we got at that time was sort of like setting the stage for this eclipse. And I can see those direct messages reflected in the cards here. So it's kind of interesting to see how things are sort of like sort of being set up, these advances and upgrades, like one after the other after the other. I think they're all meant to sort of like work in tandem with each other. So I want to talk about how I set up the cards. As you can see, they're already laid out, and I like to spend a good amount of time meditating with the cards first before I talk about them. So they are already laid out here, as you can see. And I was guided to put the Divine Feminine cards on the bottom of the Divine Masculine row, and I'm not normally guided to do that, but I can see why they wanted me to set it up this way, because it almost sort of seems like oh, now my battery is low. Sorry guys, hang on a sec. Okay, so it almost seems like the Divine Feminine is acting as like a very strong, powerful foundation for what's going on in the Divine Masculine sphere. And that direct message is really playing out in the theme of the cards here. So I can see why they wanted me to set it up like this. So prime example of that, we'll start with the first card, is the Two of Cups for the Divine Feminine. This is obviously a really powerful card of unity, the Divine Masculine and Feminine coming together in love and strong union. And as always, guys, I speak of the energies, not of the gender or sex. And when I say Divine Feminine and Masculine, what I'm really saying is first to awaken, second to awaken. So I think you guys realize that at this point, but I just want to make that clear for anyone new who's watching. Take what resonates with you as far as where you think you're at, bottom row or top row, and then these are the crowning energies. So, excuse me. So I feel like that this energy is really important to start out the reading because it's just the divine feminine making her declaration of love. And I feel also, just as importantly, she's making the declaration of love of self first, because the next card we have for her is the Queen of Swords. And I get this card a lot for the divine feminine twin specifically. I get this card all the time. You guys who know me by now realize I've said this a bunch, and this comes in a lot in private readings. So this is a powerful card of a woman or divine feminine energy standing in her truth. So these two cards together are really very powerful. And really what this is telling me is the divine feminine is someone who first and foremost knows who she is, knows her truth, loves herself, and within that self-love is able to really support her divine masculine counterpart. And it is because of that direct love and support that the divine masculine is now in this wonderful place of balance here in the Two of Coins. This is in the same position. And one more thing I want to say about this energy coming from the divine feminine is that as supportive and wonderful and loving as this energy is, it feels just very free. It just feels like without condition. It doesn't feel like she's expecting anything in return, that, you know, of course she would want a union in return, but that she's not, it's not coming from a place of need or desperation. The love is there just for the simple sake that the emotion is just immersed in her, and she just feels the need to express it, and she feels the need to support her divine masculine. And again, because of that strong support, this is where he is currently. And I think that this very energy is something that has kind of been brewing for a while in him, because in the video that I uploaded in early June, I did speak about this very powerful balancing energy that was coming through from really both the divine masculine and feminine, but it was more like a new kind of energy for the divine masculine, where he was able to balance out his masculine and feminine polarities. And there's I can't stress enough the importance of that, and the power that is in this card and that message of being in that place where you have balanced out those two energies, because it is within that balance that you are able to achieve this full union. And by balance, I mean balance of emotions, balance of balancing out your like 3D sort of material world with your 5D spiritual self, spiritual duties. You know, the balance really takes many forms. So kind of take what resonates with you, of where you see your divine masculine in this card, and how this is how this is projected in this world, in his world. The coins also being pentacles, of course, denotes finances. So there seems to be sort of a balance in that respect as well. And that's always it always seems to be a theme within the divine masculine, I notice in my private readings. And, you know, I just feel that the divine masculine as well is just sort of almost conditioned in a way to be the supporter, the financial provider. So there seems to be advancements as far as that's concerned as well, which is just as important. This feels like a balance of emotions as well. The infinity symbol, of course, denoting love, powerful love for his divine counterpart. So I really feel that the divine masculine sort of achieved this as a direct result of all the support that the divine feminine was providing. I don't want to give all the credit in some respects to the divine feminine, because he was working towards this anyway, and I think that those energies that were coming through in the first week of June were preparing for this. And also this card, if I'm not mistaken, was the outcome card for the year that I pulled in the yearly spread that I pulled in the beginning of the year. So this energy was coming. This energy was just sort of destined to come, because like I said, it's setting the stage for this. But it just feels like, because of the last two eclipses that we had, namely the last one, it's like the divine masculine is... it just feels like he's really wanting this. Like, it just feels like he's achieved it, and it's like he wants to maintain it. He never wants to go back to that state again where, things were just sort of all over the place, you can say. You can say going back to the place before all of the work was done. He doesn't ever want to go back there. It's like, this feels like it's almost here to stay. And again, I don't want to downplay it, because it is really powerful. So because of this energy of love, the foundation of love that's coming from the divine feminine, putting the divine masculine in a place of equilibrium, the next card I have for him is the Knight of Cups, which is it is a powerful card of an offering. An offering of love, moving forward. The direction that this horse is moving in the spread is literally moving forward. And you can even see, the cup, the offering here. This is a really powerful, compassionate knight, and I'm also getting this card more often too for the divine masculine. I always see patterns in my readings of cards, and how they just kind of all seem to come in at the same time. And this is an energy that's been coming in for some time. And again, it also sort of feels like it's kind of here to stay. He's getting angelic support. There's a lot of emotion coming through in the water that's behind him. So again, it is because of this groundwork from the divine feminine. It is because of the eclipse that we most recently had. This feels like, to me, like a epiphany that may have occurred just in the last few days with the eclipse energy of just like, yes, I want this love. Yes, I want to make this offer. It just seems like movement, clarity, like, let's just move forward with this. It is in the same position of the divine feminine, Queen of Swords, being in her truth, right? And it's interesting because the next card I have for the divine masculine after that is the Eight of Coins. So it's like he's at this place where he's like, okay, this is what I want, but wait a minute, nope, I got more work to do before I get there. He's recognizing he still needs to, there's still some room for improvement there. And this is kind of like the busy bee card, someone who is, very preoccupied in a healthy way, you can say, in material matters, external matters. And like I said, the divine masculine does seem to be, in a lot of my readings, he does appear as the provider twin, and he takes that very seriously, wanting to provide for his family and build a home, build a structure. So while this is true in the material sense coming through in this card, it kind of just seems to be like well-rounded in every sense of the word. He feels that he wants to prepare and he wants to get ready, because like I said, it's coming right after this energy. And I think also, just with the eclipse energy, like bringing up so much emotion and purging and clarity, you start to sort of really see, you can't help but see in the eclipse season where there is still work that needs to be done, where you're still limiting yourself, and all those epiphanies are coming through, and he's just like, yeah, there's still room for improvement. And even though they suggest after an eclipse you get all that information, right? They always suggest to wait, not act on it right away, right? To maybe wait a few days or a couple weeks before you actually make any major decisions. It feels like with the divine masculine twin, it's almost like he's made that decision to go to work right away, even though like today is Saturday. It just seems like immediate, this energy, like, no, I'm going to town. I'm going right into it. I want to continue work on myself. And I think it is in direct correlation again with the Queen of Swords energy from the divine feminine. And this is someone who is speaking her truth, who is really kind of not taking any prisoners, who is able to look ahead. She's looking ahead just the same way as this person, the divine masculine, is looking ahead. So there's just a lot of forward movement in the right direction. It just feels like I just really see the whole story kind of playing out here. And like I said, I mean, I get this card for the divine feminine quite frequently to represent her. So this was a powerful time for her to do just that, is to step into her true role and understand what that is. And I see a lot of epiphanies that came as of late with the divine feminine. And I think it's just the beginning. And the next card I have for her, this is kind of interesting, because you see these two cards side by side, the next card being the Eight of Swords. So you can really see it's illustrated here quite perfectly. It's like this is the true embodiment of the divine feminine. This is where some of the divine feminine may still be at. She literally has a blindfold around her. She has ropes tied around her. But the good news about this is that they're on quite loosely. She can get out of that binding quite easily if she wanted to. It's like she doesn't really want to take off this blindfold, turn and face herself. It is hard to face your truth sometimes, but these eclipses really force you to do that. They really bring up a ton of purging, and it brings up a lot of issues from not just your past in this lifetime, but in past timelines, past lifetimes. A lot of karma clearing. It's a powerful time to really unearth all of that, and I think in the last few days, she was really forced to do a lot of this. I think that this is still, because this is the day after the eclipse, it still feels like the divine feminine will be in this place for a little bit longer. And, and that's absolutely okay. I mean, obviously, it's not going to clear overnight. I think that yesterday was really a day for having that clarity of what it is that you need to do, and then now the weeks ahead is all about removing these ropes around you, whatever is holding you back, taking off the blindfold so that you can clearly see and clearly really take a real look at yourself. Who is it that you are really trying to be? How is it that you get there? The next card I have for the divine feminine is the Nine of Swords, and you can even just see from the imagery in this card what this card is really all about. So there is the eclipse definitely brought up a lot of purging. I felt this pretty powerfully last night, and I felt that it was coming from the collective pretty strong. I mean, even just yesterday, it was kind of interesting. Like I'm glad that I again waited to do this reading because I wanted to see how the energies of the day played out. It seemed like even what I was experiencing yesterday was just all of these emotions, like one after the other after the other. And these two emotions really came out, you know, right before as I was going to bed. And I just felt this sort of wave of incredible like heaviness and sadness and darkness coming up from the collective. It was this huge just purge, just being released into the atmosphere. You know, the swords representing the mental body, all, you know, mental emotions, all things that had to go. And what I want to say about some of the messages that came through yesterday, and this is pretty reflective here in this message, is that during a meditation in the afternoon, it's kind of funny because I heard very clearly that for myself, you are an anchor. You have to anchor in these energies now, you know. And I'm kind of like, well, it's what I'm doing. I'm in meditation, and then after that, I completely just passed out, which I never do during after either during or after a meditation, and I don't take afternoon naps. So it's kind of funny because it was like I got that strong message, you're an anchor, you have to anchor in these messages, and then just boom, it was like lights out. So it was really very heavy what came through. I needed to almost sort of be in the sleep state to do that clearing for the collective. It was like 20 minutes of very deep sleep, but I woke up and I just knew that something had happened in those 20 minutes. I had done a lot of clearing, and I think that it was in preparation for all of this that was coming up that evening. I'm just wondering if maybe some of you felt it more in the evening than during the day, because this is what I felt real strongly last night from the collective. And I guess I was supposed to help with some of that in the afternoon, anchor some of this in. And this also represents sleeplessness, you know. So some of you may not have slept well last night, or, you know, I mean, whatever happened, regardless of what is going to continue to come up, just allow it to. This is really, you know, I mean, these are heavy cards. No one likes to see these cards, but ultimately this is a good thing when this is coming up, because it's like you gotta release this stuff. I mean, even this man, it's like he's got his head in his hands. Look, also covering his face. Her face is covered. So there's something that the divine feminine is still not facing within herself. If that doesn't fully resonate with you, because obviously this is a collective reading, it's not going to resonate with everyone. What I want to say about these cards is that this could represent collective purging that you're doing, because that's where I was at. I was doing the collective purging, and I'm going to be honest here, guys. I really do feel, and I've always felt and suspected this, that the divine feminine purges for her counterpart. And I think that the reason why that is because the divine feminine, or whoever is first to awaken, almost sort of has like a responsibility, being the first to awaken, because she is aware of what's going on. She is aware that, you know, there is timeline clearing, and, you know, this and that, and the importance of the connection, and she's, you know, communing with her guides. There's a huge responsibility that goes along with all that, being the first to awaken. And I think if you were not aware of the whole, you can say, like, ins and outs of the connection, and you, like, let's say the divine masculine or unawakened, and you were just going through all of this all the time without having a framework for why, for not knowing you're clearing timelines and clearing for the, you know, the human collective and this, that, you know, you would wind up in a psych ward, right? So it's so. And for anyone who's listening to this, who's like, oh, great, I'm clearing for my counterpart too. I'm doing more of the work, you know. I mean, take what resonates with you. This is just my feel on it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then that's okay. But I just always kind of suspected this, and like I said, I did meditate with these cards quite a bit today, and it just felt like this was the energy that was coming through, that we were doing clearing for the unawakened twin, because we are the first to awaken. And honestly, if you are a true twin flame and you are embodying unconditional love for your twin, you would want to do that for your twin. You would take a bullet for your twin. You know, you would take the impact of the fast moving train if you could. And obviously I'm speaking, you know, metaphorically. I'm not telling anyone to do that, you know, but theoretically you would do that for your twin. That's true unconditional love. It's a powerful love. And I really suspect that we took on some of the brunt all along for our counterparts. And I think most especially last night, this came up heavy last night. I even woke up a few times in the middle of my sleep. I had nightmares. I knew they weren't mine. I knew they weren't even my twins. I knew I was purging for the collective last night. So I'm just curious what you guys experienced in the evening time, and what you think about these messages in these cards. And you know, the good news is that because we worked through these energies, and we still are, that this is where, again, in the same placement, that this is where the divine masculine is at. He's going to work, the Eight of Coins, and look what results. The Magician card. This is a powerful, powerful, powerful card. Major Arcana card. When I get this card for the Divine Masculine, I'm like doing backflips, honestly. This is like my favorite card. One of my favorite cards in the deck. Card number 1, card of manifestation. New beginnings. Bringing forth into your life through magic, through alchemy, through the divine. Whatever it is that you desire. And when it appears in a reading, it's magnificent, period. When it appears for the Divine Masculine, there's an energy that comes through that I just can't put into words, and that's kind of what I'm wanting to say now. I can't really even define how important I think that this card is right now for the Divine Masculine. This is huge. This is it. Like, this is everything right now. And I think that this energy, I think it is literally magic, divine magic, is still working right now through him. I think that this sort of feels like, to me, guys, like the missing piece. That it's not that the Divine Masculine hasn't been doing his work all along, or the Divine Feminine hasn't been supporting all along. I think that, like, we do what we can. We do our part as much as humanly possible. And then the divine just steps in and almost like sprinkles like magic fairy dust, you know, and does their part. And that's what I feel this energy here is, guys. It just feels like divine love and support, fairy dust. I know it sounds like a silly analogy, but that's kind of what I want to say. And it's powerful. I can't stress it enough. I feel like for the Divine Masculines who are out there, who are close to physical union, this feels like, to me, like the final touches were being placed on him throughout the day, throughout the night, last night, which I feel why I was woken up so many times. Purging for the collective, because it was making room for the fairy dust to come through. It feels like this magician energy is with us for the next few weeks throughout the Lion's Gate, throughout the last eclipse of the year, which is August 11th. It feels like these are, this is just the final touches that the Divine Masculine needs to fully step into a position of coming into 3D physical union. And I honestly feel like that this energy that's coming through, it couldn't have come from anywhere else than the divine. It's not this doesn't feel like a human, like 3D type of energy or work. It just feels, I mean, it just feels very magical. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's like a powerful activation that occurred. And again, we have, sorry guys, my computer is freezing. Hang on. Okay. And then we have the infinity symbol again above his head. So this energy was just really just streaming down, you know, and you see all these powerful, amazing animals, totem animals, spirit animals around him, and he is just sort of in control of his world. So this is really amazing to see. Now, okay, let's see where I want to go from here. I'm going to talk about the crowning energies. I'm going to talk first about the sun card and the star card. So it's kind of interesting. I was guided to pull 3 crowning energies, all amazing cards. The other one here is the 9 of Cups card, but I want to talk about the sun and the star. I'm just going to get a sip of water, guys. So this to me feels like, I'm going to move it this way. This feels like to me the divine feminine. This feels like the divine masculine, little masculine baby. They're both very similar energies, both major arcana energies, similar messages. I think that they're just the female embodiment and masculine embodiment almost of the same message. The sun is literally a star. I mean, there's so much congruency here. There's so much beauty here. It's an amazing energy of awakening, of vitality, of rebirth, of newness, of starting again, of all the energies that you would expect to come through a major eclipse, the biggest, longest eclipse of the 21st century. This is exactly what you would expect to happen as a result, and most importantly, moving forward. This is what we're moving into the remainder of the year with. I mean, there's, between this and the Magician card and this 9 of Cups and the last card I have here as the Outcome card, which is the Wheel of Fortune card, I'll show that quickly here. I mean, for crying out loud, guys, like I don't even know what to say. You really could not ask for better cards, for better energies to come through. This is really incredible. For the divine masculine with the sun, this is a newness, a rebirth. You can see this is a baby here. You can see this is a mature female. So I'm seeing this almost as, you know, the female being the first to awaken. You know, she's already more mature in her awakening. She's understanding more like what's going on. This is like the birth of the divine masculine, you know, a new baby, just coming to the understanding of what this is all about. You know, understanding the connection all along, but maybe not understanding what it all means, like the gravity of it, you know, the divine feminine all along understood. And this is this is him just coming into the world anew. Like I said earlier, the eclipses allow us to do that, is to start anew again. And with the warmth of the sun raining down on this beautiful child, on the plant life, on the animals, it is providing nourishment, warmth. It is providing a sense of compassion. This is a very like loving, compassionate energy. And this card is again also of new beginnings. Like I said, you know, the sun starting a new day, and there's a lot. I mean, there's only good things come from this energy. It's powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. And like I said, having both of these as your crowning energy. And I think that it is, you know, there is elements of both masculine and feminine in both of these cards, right? But this feels more designated to the divine masculine. So I'm going to talk a little bit about here what came through in the beginning of January and how I feel it relates to these cards. I'm sorry, not January. I meant to say June. Because I talked about, for those who may have watched the video or even those who haven't, I'll just recap quickly. I talked about some dates that I got, and you guys have heard me talk about, even in the last video I uploaded, about 606 and how I was getting that number, and then I ran into my twin, you know, exactly at 606 after a period of 3-year separation. And then after that whole thing happened, I was continually being shown 606, and then I was getting that it was really talking in addition to that about a date, June 6th, and then I was shown June 6th through June 9th. So 6/6 through 6/9 was going to be a powerful period of days, window of time for the divine masculine and feminine twins as a period of activations, right? So I haven't really uploaded much since then, like I said, and I want to incorporate what I learned during that window into these cards, because I really feel that it relates here, and that what happened during that window is a direct result of you know, of these cards appearing now, because I did a meditation on June 7th, and so what I was shown again were a DNA upgrades and a DNA double helix, and I want to show you guys just a quick diagram about that. But what they were showing me was 6/6 breaks down to a 3, 6/9, which is the last day of that window, breaks down to a 6. 3 plus 6 equals 9, and then they were showing me 369 as its own separate unit. So I looked up what 369 meant, because I had kind of heard it somewhere in years prior, and it turns out that 369 Tesla proposed that they are like universal codes, that they are almost like, you could say, codes to the universe, creation codes, and that all of creation is embedded within those numbers. They are literally creation numbers. And it's kind of interesting, because recently I've heard some other people mention this in their videos, 369. So again, it's like a lot of us get the same messages around the same time, and it's kind of fascinating. But they were saying this to me back in early June, and then so 369 meaning a creation code, right? I'm seeing that as well. What is it, excuse me, that we are exactly creating? And then they were showing me DNA double helix. So it just felt like we were being rebirthed, reborn, activated. That whole concept really fits into what you're seeing here in the star and the sun card, and these cards also feel really powerful as our crowning energies. It feels like that those activations and that sense of newness that happened in early June was setting the stage for this eclipse that just happened, to bring forth these energies, to walk us through the Lion's Gate, to walk us through the last eclipse of the year, you know. And it just feels like at that point, I mean, we're really finishing out the year like really super strong, right? But to go back to the idea of these being creation codes, so they were showing me like they were showing me a DNA double helix, right? And for anyone who's interested in genetics, I had to take an advanced genetics class in graduate school, and I had to literally teach myself like genetics 101 in order to enroll for the class. So this is an awesome book, The Cartoon Guide to Genetics, and for anyone who's a visual learner, this breaks it down really well. And, you know, I mean, don't let the fact that you're looking at a cartoon book like, you know, deter you. It is a pretty awesome book, and it really just breaks it down pretty well, because it is a complicated subject, of course. But so this is what they were showing me in the meditation in early June. I mean, these are pictures of DNA replication, but it's like they were showing me, you can see a DNA double helix, right? it's almost like each strand of the double helix, one represents the divine masculine, one represents the divine feminine. They're perfectly encoded to perfectly complement each other in every way. I mean, isn't that really what we do, right? So it's like during that phase, that window of June 6th through June 9th, they were showing me that the double helix was separated for a period of time. We each received our own upgrade, our own complementary, perfectly complementary upgrade, then recombined to then, to then form a full unit again. And it just, I don't know how to explain it. There was this perfect sense of just symmetry. Not that there wasn't symmetry there before, but it was just a more powerful, potent, I don't know what the word is, formula, you can say, that it needed to happen in order to, it felt like almost like for protection as well, but it needed to happen to prepare us as like one of our final stages of union. And again, this whole concept, relates back to how they were showing me in the same vision, 369. The creation codes were literally, this is literally embodying creation, and this whole sense of balance just seems to kind of relate back to this Two of Coins energy for the divine masculine. Like, it's just this perfect sense of ebb and flow, of the infinity symbol, of the DNA double helix. It's just, I can't find the words for it. It's just, it was really profound what was coming through. And what also came through during that that meditation in early June was, I talked a little bit about the children, the souls that were coming through, the ones that are meant to incarnate from divine partnerships later on when they manifest into physical union. And those energies were coming through so powerfully at that time that I was talking about it, because our wombs were, if you're a divine feminine, were literally being upgraded during that first week in June that I just spoke about. So that also explains why I was being shown like the DNA double helix. Our bodies were being prepared for that because they are incredible star seeds. They are incredibly powerful. We have to almost like be prepared, be extra prepared in order to even just carry them. Does that make any sense? Like our own vessels, our own womb space, our own DNA has to be upgraded in order to even birth them. So that was another message that was coming through then. I think that's all. Oh yeah, so I also just wanted to say we were getting powerful Kundalini activations then as well. And also I was getting the term sacral marriage. So I think that was also indicating the babies, preparing for the babies, and then also merging of the twins, our sacral chakras. And just looking at my notes here, I think that's all I wanted to say as far as that download that came through. But yeah, again, I mean, it really just relates to like where we're at presently, what came through this incredible eclipse. The other crowning energy card I have, lighting is changing now, the Nine of Cups. This is the Make-A-Wish card. This is wishes granted card as well. So whatever it is that you guys put forth out into the universe during the eclipses, well, we still have one more to come. This to me just means that your wish will be granted. And I just that is so crazy. I just looked at the time on this when I said your wish will be granted, and it was 4444. I don't know how it will translate when I upload this video, but I happened to look down. It was 4444 when I said your wish will be granted. That's incredible. So yeah, guys, I mean, it's pretty clear. And I mean, obviously who it's being granted from, it's, you know, it's divine. It's divine energy that wants to make your wishes come true and to help you carry forth your intentions. And I want to just reiterate divine energy, because this is what is proceeding over the reading. This is the main crowning energy of the reading, this Nine of Cups. And in this card, we have Mother Mary and baby Jesus, of course. And I just want to state here, guys, just because there's some information that was circulating that that twin flames come from, you can say from another dimension. We are some sort of experiment from a group in another dimension. I mean, take what resonates with you, but we're divine partners. I mean, it's basically in the title. We come from the divine, from source energy, whatever you want to call it. Jesus and Mary Magdalene being the first human. It's hard to, we're not necessarily even human, right? But being the first earthbound twin flames. This is our creator, our one and true creator. It's important to understand where you come from and to give thanks and praise to who created you. And if you do feel that you came from some kind of spaceship or whatever, then, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to believe, but I do feel that true twin flames do understand that we do come from divine source and, you know, nowhere else. And, you know, we're not an experiment. We are something that is that has been planned for many, many years, and it is a certainty. It is a certainty who we are, where we came from, and the strength of our connections. So I just felt that it was important to say that there, and I feel that this card is a reminder of that. Now, the last card, I did speak about it briefly before, but I have the Wheel of Fortune card. Just trying to find a good light for it. So, to me, this is also about new beginnings. This is a new cycle, literally the wheel, a new cycle, cycle of life, new energy being brought forth. This card is also about clearing karma, which the eclipse season is really very powerful for that. And I do feel that this being the outcome card of the reading, that this is what directly came as a result of the eclipse that we had most recently, that we are sort of like shrugging off the old, making room for the new, making room for a new cycle of life. You see a happy home here, mother, father, baby, you know, these horses in the background, and there's just a feeling of just serenity and warmth that is coming through in this picture. There's angels up ahead, and this is just ushering in a powerful new life force that came through as from these recent eclipses, and it is a card of good fortune. This is a really powerful card to finish out the reading with. So I hope that this resonates with you guys, and let me know if I can be of any further assistance to you, either through a tower reading or through, I'm doing intuitive sessions, healing sessions. I'm going to upload a video really soon about that, because I am going to be working more in that realm, and I'm going to explain what that exactly is all about. So I'll upload that probably next week, but if you want, you can email me and I'll give you more information if you feel guided to work with me in that respect now. But I just really feel that with the activation that I had most recently from my twin, and just this new cycle that I feel that we're entering into, it just feels like a really powerful time right now, and I'm definitely feeling guided, and I feel energetically ready to to work more with my gifts and to help you guys. So let me know if you feel guided to work with me. I love all of you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon, and take care, everyone. Stay blessed.